everyone and welcome! With Nautilus and Fizz behind us, it is time we have a look at yet another mythical being from Bilgewater. It is a respected and feared creature that the Bilgewater natives are very familiar with. After all, they bring him the most satisfaction, the only thing he lives for. So let's have a look at Tahm Kench, the River King. The waterways of Valoran are old, but far older is the demon Tahm Kench. From muddy gambling tents along the Serpentine River, through the salt-crusted dice halls of Bilgewater, to the gilded wagering tables of Piltover and Zaun. All those who have given a covetous glance to another's wealth know the unending hunger that comes from an encounter with the River King. The first tales of the creature were told by a traveling people who piled the Serpentine. They warned of a giant fish with a cavernous mouth, who would lure in the dissatisfied with the promise of more. One such story was that of a young man renowned for his honesty. Though born to the ways of a raftsman, he desired a life beyond the poor banks he knew so well, and the River King promised him an unforgettable experience if only he would tell one little lie. It seemed harmless enough, so the raftsman bent the truth in conversation with his own brother. That night the demon appeared, revealing a fork in the river the raftsman had never noticed before. He followed it to a camp of foreign folk who offered him food and drink and fresh companionship. As dawn neared and the raftsman was full and ready to return to his people, the demon appeared again, promising an even greater experience for another lie. His interest had piqued. The man accepted the bargain, telling falsehoods to his hosts. The river parted again and he followed it to an evening of even greater luxury. This continued night after night, until the once honest raftsman's deceits came as easily as breathing. When the river finally emptied into the sea, he found himself alone and lost. There was no one left to lie to. So many dark choices, all of them his own, had left the raftsman with no way back home. The brackish rivers of the mainland carried the tales of the River King to the Blue Flame Isles, where the creature gained a name as his legend grew. Tahm Kench. In Bilgewater the fortunes are boom or bust, with as much wealth going out with the tide as comes in. Many a tavern yarn tells of old Tahm, a demon of water with an unending appetite for games of chance, such that the loquacious beast became a symbol for many of the city's gambling dens and houses of sin. Once the Sun Gates opened easy trade from Bilgewater to Piltover, tales of Tahm Kench became more common in the City of Progress and its underbelly, Zaun. There, children know Tahm as Two Coats, a fish so monstrously large that he wears two fine jackets stitched together. With a jaunty top hat and a smile wider than the Pilt itself, he drives the jealousiest of young artificers. It is said he came one progress day to a struggling Piltovan inventor and offered her an idea certain to make a wealthy clan take notice. All he asked in return was a single lock of her hair. The ambitious woman made the trade and, true enough, her work landed her a lucrative contract. But one invention would not satisfy, and Two Coats wandered by, this time asking for all of her lovely braids. Not wishing to disappoint her new patrons, the inventor agreed, and Two Coats ate them up on the spot. Still, the woman was unable to find the one great invention that would make her name. The demon came again, offering a deal that would take the tip of one finger. The following week, it was an year. A year passed, and by then there was little left of the woman to give. Finally, she called Two Coats herself, begging him to make it all stop. He laughed as he opened his jaw wide, telling her he would protect her from herself, and promptly swallowed her whole. The River King, the Great Weddler, Old Yawnbelly, Two Coats. The demon Tahm Kench is known by many names, but all who speak them have learned a singular truth. No matter how alluring his words may be, in his mouth you will be lost. In case you're wondering what even is the Progress Day and why it is tied to the inventors and wealthy clans, we have a separate video on this channel called Progress Day. It's a story about young artificers trying to show off their inventions to royal clans with the goal of joining them. It is also funny that they call him Two Coats in Piltover, since if you look at his model, He really wears two coats stitched together. Also, at the beginning of the story, there was a mention of traveling people from Serpentine, which strongly suggests that these may be Twisted Fate's people. I still don't think that TF became what he is because of Tahm Kench, because his own lore points at other aspects playing roles there. But it is possible that Tahm Kench could have kickstarted or affected the card magic in them. Anyway, let's first go through Tahm Kench's teaser to remind ourselves how his character was introduced. And then, let's hop into Riot's audio story.
Into a sunken town, the handsome gambler ran, for he owed gold and blood, and yet had none to spare. Desperate and forlorn, he was about to change his path and walk away, when he heard a song that called on him to chance his luck again. Now the singer was a creature with the biggest mouth the gambler had ever seen. "Excuse my song," the monstrous siren said. "The tune's purpose was your attention, for I knew you had troubles, and I can offer absolutions." "Can you carry me from this bind?" the youth asked. "Boy, the world's one river, and I'm its king. Ain't no place I ain't been, ain't no place I can't go again. And the price is a minuscule thing. See, I got hungers that ain't easily fed, but those finest tables, they ain't never got a seat for me. So I need men like yourself to let me in." Now the gambler's only hunger was dice and cards, so this bargain, it seemed too easy a price. "If you're offering a ticket," the youth finally said, "that's a deal I will take." And before another word was spoke, the monster snapped him up and fled. To a faraway land the gambler was conveyed. At a palace of chance he was left. Years passed, and love the gambler found. His bride a princess, and the wedding none would miss. Now when that hungry beast finally did arise, the family screamed and fought, and although the gambler tried to cast him out, it ate the gifts and house and gold. For its hunger, nothing satisfied. "Please, not now, not this time," the bride did cry. The beast's response, to her it purred. "This hunger's a burden, but it's the last time, I swear. So please, forgive." Now the creature's lies, so melodic and sincere, charmed that bride, and thus she failed to recognize when that demon's jaw unhinged. She screamed just once as I snapped her bones and crushed her limbs. Now that meal, it left me satisfied. So cry if you want, boy, 'cause you had a chance to walk away. Instead, you're the fool who let me in.
Ah, that's quite the hole you have there. One at the tables, was it? Well, here's to your very good health. Cheers. Oh, no. I'll not be rolling the dice with you. Not a gambling man no more. So it tells myself. There were a time, though. What's happened? The River King happened, that's what. Aye, two coats. That old devil Tahm Kench. He's what's happened. I was bilge poor, beg your pardon, and living in a flophouse. Had nothing to me name, not till a single gold kraken. Aye, This one here came into my possession. I could tell you how, but you'd call me a liar. So, with this one coin, what I ought to done was pay me debts and find a new crew to join. I was a harpooner, see. Should have put aside whatever was left for the future. Been responsible like. Harpooning's a harsh life, even for a younger man. But that's when the River King found me. Why work someone else's ship, he says. Slaving away, risking your life for next to nothing, when you might have a ship of your own. I just had to think bigger like. Of course, one cracking won't buy a ship, but he had an answer to that, didn't he? Dice. One good throw of the bones, and I'd have enough to start my own little operation. Others could do the danger work, while I sits back, nice and plumb, enjoying the profits. And after a few more drinks, you understand, that crooked devil's advice starts to make a lot of sense to my ears. So, blinded by greed and possibility, I went along with it. That night were a blur. I woke well afternoon the next day, my head fairly pounding. Had no idea where I was. Some fancy bawdy house, as it turns out. But on the dresser were my previous night's winnings. More than enough to purchase myself a ship. But the River King, he'd given me a taste for something more. Why should young Lars content himself with a single ship when he could have a fleet? Just needed to chance my hand a few more times. That's Bilgewater. There's riches to be had, if you're willing to risk everything, over and over. With old Two Coats' armor on me, I was led from the dice tables to other halls of avarice. From backroom card games to gambling in betting parlours high and low. I spent a fortune, lost a fortune, then made it all back again. Around and around in that alluring spiral I went. I was feeling the hunger, the yearning, and it was pulling me down like a whirlpool. Years passed, and somewhere along the way, I'm ashamed to say I forgot what I was doing all this for. Forgot who I was. I had it all, but what never were enough. I wanted more. And then I started losing big. That made me double down, go for broke, all or nothing, looking for the big stakes to put me back on top. Pretty soon, I was in a worse state than I'd been to start with. Sleeping in the gutter, catching rats to eat, if I were lucky. I begged, borrowed and stole from everyone who'd ever shown me any kindness. Lost all my mates, chasing the dream. He feeds on misery, see, does Tahm Kench. As old as sin he is, and older than Bilgewater by far. Been round since the start of things, gorging himself on the desperation that comes with the greed and sorrow in men's hearts. I mean, I did it to myself, but it were him what give me the means. You might say he took me to the cliff's edge, but I were the numpty what threw myself off, beg your pardon, and that old glutton revelled in me despair. Came to me once more, he did, when I was at my very lowest, drinking from puddles, having sold me own leg to be used for chum. In the darkest night, whispering and cajoling, he pressed this gold kraken back into my hand with a knowing wink. 'Twere the same one I'd had back at the start. It were this damn coin that started me on that wretched path. He opened his mouth up wide and says, "It's not too late, Lars. Never too late. Come with me and we'll find you a fortune again." Even after everything. I was tempted. Of course I was. But no. No, I resisted. Mother Serpent knows how. Two Coats only laughed. Said he'd be there when I changed my mind. And sure enough, the temptation's still there. No. Every day. So here I am. Friendless. Broke. All the best years of my life behind me. Wasted in those lost decades. Can't remember most of it neither, so no idea if I even enjoyed myself. Anyways, enough of my rambling. There's a lesson to be learned here. Keep your purse strings tight and never, ever make a deal with the River King. You've always got more to lose.
And that was the complete story of Tahm Kench. Honestly, I think this is my favorite story from this year's Bilgewater event. It is not even about what the story revealed, it's more about who Tahm Kench is and what he does. I really like his character. But that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to rate it and subscribe for more lore and news. I have never asked you to ring the bell button, but YouTube is weird, so it might be worth it. If you'd like to chat, all our social media will be in the description, together with Twitch, merch and P.O.Box. Of course, massive shout out to our patrons for going the extra mile, you guys are absolutely amazing. And with that, thank you all so much for being here and for your support, you know I really appreciate it. And as always, thank you come again.